Everybody saying that their car fuel's burning faster is actually right.
The elite have to tell you things. They have to leave messages.
The biggest issue in the future is water, and that's where the geopolitical tensions will arise.
The data centers.
Made a big mistake exposing this side of TikTok. Let's get into it.
This movie, They Live, is now the greatest documentary of all time.
What's your problem?
Now, there's a million reasons why this movie is so relevant today, but there's one thing that you may have missed, like this book that's perfectly in frame right behind him by Edgar Cayce. Now, who was that? He was America's, at one point, most famous clairvoyant of the 20th century, and that book behind him was Edgar Cayce on ESP, which in short explains how his psychic abilities work and how we all have these abilities accessed through the Akashic records. Now, some of his predictions that actually came to pass is the Great Crash and Depression of 1929, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and a temple under the Sphinx, but that last one can't be verified, right? Right? Yeah, it is, because in newly discovered declassified CIA documents, it explains a temple under the Sphinx discovered in July of 1950. Now, all this was released through the Freedom of Information Act, but Edgar Cayce actually predicted this decades ago before its discovery. Now, the way he describes this temple, he says it's an underground library of lost knowledge, kind of like Atlantis, which he also predicted to be real. Now, it is no mistake that they actually put this particular book in the movie because it shows how the veil has been pulled over our eyes, and Edgar Cayce was actually showing you how to lift that veil. Wouldn't it be wild that glasses like these actually existed that has Decillion dye used in the early 20th century by Walter Kilner to look into other dimensions and read auras and used in the Vietnam War? That would be wild, right? Make sure you guys hit up my channel, The Maverick Approach, because I did a bigger breakdown on this, and let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
A lot of people don't know that there's cities under Las Vegas.
All of Las Vegas is built above an underground city.
And there's people down there. Lots
a lot of people.
Lots of them.
Lots of people.
There's like commerce going on.
Yeah, they have.
I hear there's getting popped through there left and right.
I've never heard of, been privy to, or seen China in the underground city in Las Vegas.
And it's pitch black. How would you see it?
I've
If
seen adults.
you shine your light on people, do they say turn that shit off?
I don't just walk up on people unannounced and put a flashlight in their face in the tunnels. I'll have the flashlight the whole time, and as I'm walking, you can see, like in the distance, they're just straight shot tunnels mostly. You can see, like, 200 feet away is a dwelling. And so as I'm approaching, I go, hey, is anybody over there? Are you hungry? I brought food. And if they go, yeah, I'm hungry, then I know it's safe to approach.
What are you bringing?
I'll bring any type of fast food, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, like water, cases of water, stuff like that.
And why do you do it? Just because?
Yeah, I just want to help. I have the means to give back. Like, why would I not?
Why don't you help them get a sportsbook account?
I think there'd be a very, very small conversion of that, and so not that many people would get help.
How do you get? Like, I'm thinking, if I go get one,
Mm-hmm.
How do they grade me? When, like, they say, Brad, I'll give you $100,000. Is that a credit they're giving me?
Yeah, it's a credit, and
So then you use my credit.
correct. Only in the first week.
See, I'd get skitsy right there.
Well, even if you gave me,
what if you I don't mind 1,000, but what if you bet 100,000?
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
It's not a coincidence amidst the global energy crisis, the global affordability crisis, and the mass immigration crisis that the UK is currently going through that now they have King Charles saying they're going to implement digital ID. If you truly think this is for any convenience, safety, or efficiency, then I have a bridge for sale.
What has Ronald Reagan said? What was the quote?
In order to bring people together, have unity among humans, we'd have to have some sort of outside alien invasion to come in against us.
They are trying to create a narrative to make you lose your faith in Christianity through aliens.
If you're the only thing that'll work, the only time that would work, the alien invasion to make us come together, is if they start blowing up and offing people. That's the only way I think that maybe people would get on board. But I mean, they're releasing photos, they're releasing, Navy people are coming out talking about it in front of Congress, and nobody's batting an eye. But the day they start Mars attacks, maybe, right? Maybe.
for 9/11 cannot explain the magnetometers, it cannot explain the Global Consciousness Project finding, and it cannot explain the iron-rich crenellated spheres, you are absolutely wrong totally. The Global Consciousness Project found that atomic clocks all over the world changed their decay rate during 9/11. Why? Because the technology that was used to create it was intensely magnetic in a sense, but also it was sucking relic neutrinos out of the environment. And so they were not able to cause the atomic clocks to be able to decay at their normal rate. It was nothing to do with the attention of humans on the event, as they claimed. It was caused because there was a big thing sucking in these relic neutrinos, ready to create the party, what I call the party trick on the event. They did a huge party trick and then they replicated it just under an hour.
Wow, that makes so much sense, because the consciousness thing, that little blip on the results, has always been interesting, but it's never been explained to me until just now.
Look at how high Hurricane Katrina was right here in Mississippi. 23 feet.
Look at the Great Lakes. They were not on any of the maps prior to the 1800s. The same time frame when Tartaria was removed from all of our maps, the Great Lakes sites were being added. And if you look at a lot of those Great Lakes, like the depths maps of them, and they look straight up like they were artificially made, like a filled in quarry site, like a filled in and dammed off quarry site. None of those Great Lakes were shown on old world maps, just like Chicago wasn't showing on old world maps. Here's one of like Lake Michigan. I'll show you kind of the photo of the artificial depths that it looks like it's created. It looks just like a quarry, just like a modern day quarry, like a strip mine. And that's where I believe they got a lot of these materials from. There are stone megalithic sites that are about 40 feet underwater. One, they call it the Lake Michigan Stonehenge, right near Traverse City, Michigan. That's about 40 feet underwater. But there's these megalithic stone columns that align in a circle that spread out about a mile in circumference.
Fairies have absolutely nothing to do with Disney, and they're quite dark and scary.
Why do you consider them so dark?
If you go back and you look at the real fairy tales, that's some dark shit. I mean, look at changelings. They would come and take your baby and leave another baby that looked just like your baby, but was not.
Like a demonic thing?
Yes.
When you've seen fairies.
Yeah.
What they look like.
There's a movie called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, where these things come out of the fireplace. That's what they look like to me, but more messed up, like burnt, half burnt and stuff.
I don't want to see no fairies now.
They can look however they want to, but I think that the reality is much spookier.
He says they would go out and hunt together as a group. So one day they were out hunting as a group, and lo and behold, they came across a whole group of red-haired giants, different ages, young, small, scared the bejeebies out of them.
So they was still alive.
They were still alive. This is
the late 1800s.
Probably maybe 1860s. I don't know. This was shortly after the Saints moved to Salt Lake, and Brigham Young immediately started sending people to the Four Corners to settle. So here they meet these redhead giants and scared the bejeebies out of them. So they went ahead and killed them all. And then they buried them.
Like, dude, I'm gonna show you something. He was like, but you can never bring nobody here.
Jose.
And he touched the tree, and the tree opened. He touched the tree, and the tree opened. We went inside the tree. There was a whole village of Bigfoots. Baby Bigfoots. Female Bigfoots. I'm talking about massive Bigfoots. It was like some Wakanda stuff. It's there, but you don't even know that it's there.
The forest speaks, but only the wise hear its voice. It tells of a deep magic hidden within its ancient roots. Listen carefully and with intent, and you'll hear them speaking too.
And I listen to a lot of like ultra runners, that run 100+ miles, and, they sleep in the 2 days, maybe 10, 15 minutes, right? And they say when they're running through the forest, they'll start hallucinating. They'll see the floors full of snakes, or they'll see a jaguar in a hammock, or somebody playing a cello out there. Like they see crazy things out there. These ultra runners, when they're a lack of sleep, and those barriers go down. Right? That's that. You want to see some things. Don't sleep. Just kidding. Don't do that. It's very dangerous. But I'm saying you hear these stories from these people that get a little bit of sleep, and these barriers start going down.
Palm Beach Pete is Epstein.
Wait, why do you say that?
Listen to me, nephew. Our government have gotten this bold. Where they
Would
don't
do
think
that,
we'll believe
right?
it, they're just doing it in plain sight. Every evidence, every information from the guard who's supposed to be, no, man, that Palm Beach Pete is Jeffrey Epstein. They just don't think, we don't believe they're bold enough to do it.
Well,
He's not dead.
Unc, did you see the autopsy video? His tattoo's not even in the right spot.
Man, he was seen leaving out before he was showed up dead. A guard say they seen him leaving out, being put into another van.
That's crazy. What?
Do you scare your children? All right. Well, here's the thing. As much as I do not like to be scared, how many moms here have ever scared your child and they are so easily scared, and then you get the fever for it?
Someone here is saying, yes, she has scared her child.
Right? And I mean, just a couple weeks ago, and I had to stop myself because I realized there's something disturbing or like potentially abusive and long lasting.
Isn't it funny how they've mentioned this on that show? Now, we all know about scaring little and the reason why they do that and what they extract from it. But what you gotta bear in mind is when they do these shows, they have prompts, they have questions and scripts, and it's all premeditated what they're gonna talk about. It's not just off the cuff. So ask yourself, why did they have to put that in there? And if you don't know the answer to that, hopefully the comment section can speed that up for you.
I mean, I see it all the time when I'm looking for these videos, like on TikToks, like parents like scaring their young ones, like saying, "Time to wake up, time for school," and they're only like 1 years old. And I'm like, God, I couldn't imagine. Like when my boy's asleep, I just sleep so peacefully. But people get a kick out of that. I don't understand that. But maybe when they're older, like 10 years old, because they do it to you. They hide in the corner when you're walking out. My nieces used to always do that, so I do it back when they're a little older, right? But when they're like under 3 years old and you're doing that, that's kind of crazy to me.
He was doing surgery on this alien in the back of this van game in the middle of the open. And
That'd be crazy to see.
Over there and look, gang. Oh, yo, that thing levitating. Yo, they had caught me recording, bro. They didn't close the van. How you finna take off?
Countries where it's still not 2026. In Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia follows the Islamic Hijri calendar, making the year 1447. In Thailand.
I had no idea about this.
Thailand uses the Buddhist era calendar, making the year to 569. In Bhutan. Bhutan's Buddhist calendar places them in the year to 153. In Iran. Iran uses the solar Hijri calendar, so their year is 1405. In Nepal. Nepal follows the Bikram Sambat calendar, making their year 2082. And Ethiopia. Ethiopia is currently in the year 2019 because they use their own calendar system.
Biggest issue.
No, I had no idea about that. Call me dumb all you guys want. I didn't even know that, right? But there's a reason, I guess, now that I see why during, all these New Year's shows, they're only showing Western civilization celebrating New Year's, right? They don't show people like Iran, lighting off fireworks because there ain't none going on January 1st over there.
in the future is water. And that's where the geopolitical tensions will arise. This is a map of the world. And if you are light blue, Brazil, Canada, you have nothing to worry about because you have a lot of water, very little population. 100% water stress just means that you drink as much water as the environment produces. So you want to be below 100% to be sustainable. Ideally, you want to be at 10%. So 20% is really bad. You're using twice as much water as the environment produces. Look at the Middle East. Egypt, 6,420%. Saudi Arabia, 883%. Dubai, 17,000%.
I just saw in Arizona they're going to start like cutting water and all that. They've been saying we're going to run out of waters as long as I can remember. And they're starting to cut waters. And I know on certain days you can water your plants, you can. But I was telling my girl, you know who ain't going to stop watering their grass? Them golf courses everywhere in Arizona. They don't have to ration their water. They're going 24/7. They're watering that grass. Winter, summer, every day, every night, afternoon, they're watering that grass and they get away with it. So why do we got to ration our water?
I told you theme parks aren't built for entertainment,
No.
but to harvest human emotional energy.
No.
For something far darker. Insiders claim these parks were designed with precision engineered layouts based on ancient energy harvesting geometry, a concept known as Lagrange amplification.
Don't do it.
Hidden beneath the parks are alleged emotion siphoning infrastructures, massive underground complexes
Of course.
powered by psychological energy extraction systems. The rides, parades, and fireworks aren't just for fun. They're engineered to heighten emotions like joy, fear, and nostalgia, creating a spike in human bioelectric energy. This emotional output is absorbed through high-frequency transmission nodes, disguised as park decorations, towers, and even castle spires. Former employees have spoken of restricted off-limits zones where data servers allegedly monitor emotional throughput. I'm gonna go ahead.
If they were to remove all the background characters in their vehicles, like, if you really seen how much real humans we actually had here on this earth, and you could see the difference in like businesses and the way that they looked and functioned, you would know that nobody's fucking going to fast food places, bro. Nobody's going to fast food to fucking eat. Real, authentic, conscious ass people, on average, don't go to half the places that you see open for business. You see these places and yeah, you see all these cars
Amazon.
and you walk in that bitch and there's nobody in there. It's all for show to convince you that this is popping and you need to go spend your money there. You need to go here. There's other people going here. Well, they're in this business. Well, other people are eating McDonald's. Look, McDonald's always has a line. Yeah, and them motherfuckers ain't real. So now what? Argue with your mama.
So has anybody else noticed the footage that is coming out of Lebanon looks very, very similar to the 9/11 footage? Same type of collapses, same giant dust clouds, same buildings dropping straight down. And you know what's strange is in a lot of these clips, you don't actually see incoming missiles or airstrikes.
I was gonna say they're like
it's
at
just
the base.
sudden massive explosions and then buildings collapsing. Now we're being told they're targeting Hezbollah's infrastructure, right? Some people online think there is a lot more to the story than what we're seeing. At some point, you have got to stop calling everything a conspiracy and start asking some serious fucking questions.
And at these parties, there would be one guy, about 50 years old, 6 girls sitting around him.
Is his name Diddy?
Maybe, no, I wasn't Diddy, but you'd see like
Oh, it
these
would have been
things.
6 dudes, I guess, but anyway.
Yeah. So like you see these things and you're like, what the freak is going on? And like none of that's by God. It's
No.
all by the devil. And you see, I remember going to this one party, we were there. This one guy,
He's all at the
He's like the
parties.
king of all these like influencers pretty much. Like all these influencers at a house, he helps them do certain things. And
Is this who I think it is?
Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's a huge, huge help. Thank you.
You scared me. Shut the door, please.
All fair.
Thought it was
Mhm.
shut. I
So
saw a
he-
ghost in my corner. Scared
I'm
me.
at this house. There's all these people like that I love watching on YouTube, and they're there as well. And on the ground, there's just like whippets. I didn't even know those were a thing. There's just whippets just everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Cocaine on the ping pong table. But this guy and like drugs, alcohol everywhere. Everyone's drunk. And like me, I just like felt like this place is like horrible. And then all these fake relationships. These girls are only around this 50-year-old man because he has the house in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And all these guys with millions of followers are only there because he's able to maybe give them a brand deal, are able to facilitate them to get more followers or to help them start X, Y, and Z. And so, like, none of that's by God, and it's just all manipulation, like tactics of God, or tactics of the devil. My bad.
To get Gordon.
Oh, do you think his stuff is by God? Do you think he got into the White House, made the news, breaking news on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News organically? Right? I got a comment the other day saying, you know, I'm negative for saying nothing's organic. Like that guy just told you, right? I said like I'm organic, right? But I'll never get into the White House doing this. I'll never get on the Grammys. I'll never get on the big stage. I'll never be in Kaisenat stream. I'll never meet this guy unless I go to those parties, y'all. He just said I was at the parties, right? But I was the only holy one in the party. Everyone else was demonic. I was the only holy one. I left at 10 o'clock, right? These damn people, y'all, they expose themselves. They really do. They really do expose themselves. That's why I get mad at that guy. Because if he was holy, he would be exposing the whole damn thing, not one party.
Those same
and you guys swear by
gumboots
that
that
dude.
those
Some of y'all.
slaughtermen in Mexico are wearing. Go to the bathroom, take a pee-pee. There's fecal matter on the floor. Somebody dipped snuff. They spit it on the ground. Those same germs that are on that in the bathroom, in the toilets, they walk back out onto the kill floor, and that's what they're walking in the trim that they sweep into a vat, vacuum pack it, and then bring it to the United States. When it gets to the United States, so like you got 400 to 600 animals on a rail. So 1 pound of ground beef can come from 400 to 600 animals. And then they grind it up here, and of course it looks disgusting, so then they put the red food dye in it. And they add stuff to it.
And this is being sold at our local grocery stores right now.
They had to. I mean, and two, though, you can't trust these farms, y'all. People are like, I get my food at farms, right? My butcher's local. Do you know they're in the business of money, right? They're in the business of money, just like a drug dealer, right? If he don't F with you, he's going to give you the bottom weed. He's going to give you the bottom of the barrel. The people he messes with, he's going to give them grade A, right? That's drug dealers, right? They give you the stress, and they give the people, their family, whatever, the good stuff, right? Same with these butchers probably, right? If they don't really like you, they get store-bought, right? Especially when it's on sale. It's $5 for $1. I'm gonna go buy that. They're in the business. Anytime there's money, right? You just can't trust it. When there's money being exchanged, you just can't trust it, in my opinion, right? I can go to my local butcher. I don't know if that was from the cow. He can say it's from the cow. He might have got it at Walmart because it was on clearance. You just never know, y'all. You never know. Unless you're doing it yourself is the only way you 100% know.
Rename the fusion centers to data centers.
Why?
So the peasants wouldn't figure out what they're doing.
The data centers. You are building this in the middle of massive communities. You are building centers that in some cases might only end up employing like 40 people from the community to work there. This hit the mainstream, as we said at the outset, with the whole Kevin O'Leary thing. So Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, someone who's been on Shark Tank for a lot of years, extremely well known, very famous, 2.5 times the size of Manhattan. He is looking at building a data center that size in rural Utah. These are centers that will use massive power, massive water supplies. I don't want to get facts wrong, but it is a lot. In a world where, like I said, everything's fragile and things we take for granted are hanging by a thread, constituents around the country in various places where these data centers are being proposed to be built are righteously very hesitant about the potential long-term water effects, the effects on electricity bills in the area because of the consumption usage,
yes,
the destruction of wildlife, the changing of the literal environment and, in some cases, generational hometowns that they have lived in for decades or centuries, families that live in these places, the lack of jobs that will come from them, and also the noise. A data center, it's not this Tesla sitting on the road at full stop. You know, I'm not an expert on these fucking places, but my understanding is they make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Bright lights.
Every scientist that I know that's studying DMT, not one of them thinks it's a hallucination.
What do they think it is?
I think the more familiar someone is with DMT, the less certain they are about what the hell's going on. But everyone everyone, literally everyone who uses DMT pretty much goes to the same exact places. And they all meet the same entities, the same 7 or 8 different types of entities. And it's been the same for 4,500 years of recorded history with DMT. And DMT is something we make in our own body. It's an endogenous chemical.
Has it changed your perception of what reality really is?
100%. Yeah. It's so much more real than this reality. It's like, it's so ineffable. There are no words that can describe it, but it's 1,000, maybe 1,000,000 times more real than this, in such a way that just coming back to this feels like everything is kind of claymation for a little while.
Claymation?
Or just fake, like a cartoon of some kind. It's just really low resolution. And I come back with no certainty about anything.
Why does it seem like they're invading, and I'm going to use the word invasion, why does it seem like they're not invading Philadelphia, Pittsburgh? Why is it all these small communities that they're coming to? Is there any reason for that, or is that,
well, I mean, if you think
even
about,
a speculation a little bit?
Yeah, well, if you think about just having to steamroll over 15 people as opposed to 100 people, trying to force these things onto massive, densely populated areas, you're going to have a much bigger uproar. But with these 15 people over here, and only 7 of them are paying attention, that are going to go into and those numbers
speak at like some sort of public meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a lot less to worry about, and you can just minimize it and forget about those people. Just put it there anyways. Then by the time they can do anything to stop it, it's too late anyways. It's already in production.
The elite have to tell you things. They have to leave messages. The reason they have to do this is how they believe they get past karma. By telling you what they're going to do, they release their karma. Start paying attention to everything all around. Not many people understand how to read things like this. That's why it's coded.
Is this the inside of a Nokia phone, or is this Cape Coral, Florida? It's Cape Coral, Florida. Another day goes by that I wonder, who thought it was a good idea to design a city like this? This is like Florida's bootleg version of Venice. The city has over 400 miles of canals, which means it has more navigable waterways than anywhere else on Earth. And the reason this looks like some suburbia etch-a-sketch is because it literally was a waterfront experiment in the 1950s. They wanted to see what happened when you dredged miles of canals to make inland lots into waterfront properties. Here's the thing that is really diabolical: the street names. Everything is a cardinal direction plus a number. It's like so robotic that it's almost like hyper organized in a really confusing way. So GPS could be like, turn west onto Southwest 12th Terrace, and then right onto Southwest 12th Place, and then continue on Southwest 12th Lane. That feels wrong.
I have a conspiracy theory. If you look up Tony Hinchcliffe and Chelsea Handler, all the articles, all the posts that you'll see that she owned the roast, not a single one is mentioning the Epstein connection.
Speaking of tossing tiny shrimp into a child's mouth, Chelsea Handler went to dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's house in 2010. You can look it up. There's articles. It wasn't like a big party. There was like 7 people there. Prince Andrew and Woody Allen were there.
What a freaking intro. At that point, it's not even a joke. He's just dropping fun facts. It was pretty obvious that Tony and Shane hate Chelsea Handler. All Chelsea does now on social media is talk about her life being childless by choice and brag about all the abortions that she's had, about how much she hates Republicans and Trump. And I have to imagine that if she's this insufferable to us who are just viewers, I can only imagine how people who have interacted with her in the comedy community actually feel about her.
I didn't want to record it, but there's like a naked woman in the mall, and it's kind of disturbing. You know, I really do feel like I need to speak on what I just saw today. I know I made like a short video and I tried to make it like it wasn't a big deal, but honestly, I'm so disturbed. I mean, I'm walking in the Barton Creek Mall in Austin, and it's like a Monday around noon. You know, you don't think anything is going on. I'm walking, I see clothes on the floor. I see sweatpants, I see shoes, and I'm like, what on earth, you know? And for some reason, I was like, you know, I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, maybe someone dropped something out their bag. That's all I'm thinking. I continue walking, and I hear a faint scream. And I'm like, was that? Kind of raised my alert. Then all of a sudden I see people walking around in a circle in this area. And I notice it's a kids' play area, and I see this woman just completely naked, screaming that God's coming and he's gonna kill everyone, and she's just foaming at the mouth. Like, literally, when I say there's foam, it looked like foam coming out of her mouth, screaming. I'm getting chills. And they had this officer or security guard, and he was just, he couldn't, you can't detain somebody, you can't just grab somebody, especially a naked woman, because that's gonna go under assault. So he's trying to probably call backup, most likely calling the cops in an ambulance. It's like, you just don't know what's happening with people, and you don't know what's going on. And I think the thing that's most disturbing me is that people were laughing and recording. I couldn't bring myself to do something like that with somebody or to somebody. It was just so disturbing. Are y'all serious? This woman, I don't know who she is. I don't know what's going on, but this is not something to be laughed at. People are sick, and I see why things have to change. We need to change. People need to change. That was just like a wake up for me. It's so disturbing. I can't believe people would actually think that was funny.
It really does need to change. Like, I was somewhere, right? And customer service was so bad, right? The kids were working in there. They were younger kids. The manager was there. I was watching, right? I was observing these things. And the manager, I could tell she hated her job, right? The kids, one kid was flipping off another coworker, like messing around with them, telling him, like, he told him, like, suck my D, right? He told him that. And I look down, there's a little girl right here with her dad, and it's just like, what is happening? Like, you don't do that at work. You don't do that, right? I got my food, and I told her. Usually I give attitude because she was very rude to me, but I could tell she hated it. And I was like, "Madam, I understand you're busy, but like, I didn't tell her you could make things run so much smoother, but I just told her, like, just be better. I told her, be better." And she told me, I've been customer service for 10 years. I'm tired of it. Like, that's what she told me. I'm tired of it. And I told her, then quit. Then quit. But you like, she could make that process run so much smoother. Everyone in the room was angry, was staring at him. Just communication goes such a long way. I wanted to tell her. She didn't want to hear it, right? The other guy was telling me, "Have a good day, sir," like telling me to shut up and leave, right? The kid that was telling the other one to suck his D, paid him no mind. But like, just come communicate with us. Like, guys, we're really backed up. I'm working. Come on, guys, let's pick it up. Let's get going. You know what I mean? Like, it was just crazy, y'all. The customer service, even to the manager, that was probably my age, right? She wasn't a little kid. But just seeing how these young kids were acting when there's people around and there's like, no care for people at all. And it's crazy. The generation, the young generation, they don't care, y'all. They don't care about nobody, right? There's a little girl right there, and he was telling him that. I was like, damn, y'all, no care for the world at all.
Is not just
Sad.
old footage. Something about this video is seriously wrong. People say this was found in a collection of early recordings, completely unedited, just raw footage. At first, it looks normal, just black and white clips of people, but then you start noticing at their faces, the way they move doesn't feel human. Their expressions stretch too far, like their skin doesn't have limits. Their smiles can feel forced, unnatural, almost like they're learning how to act human. And the scariest part, they don't react to it at all. No pain, no hesitation, like it's completely normal to them. Some clips show their faces shifting in ways no real person can control, and once you see it, you can't unsee. It People online are convinced this isn't just old footage. They think something else is in these videos, something pretending to be human, and for a split second it slips.
Water is the next crypto fuck. Water is the next whatever, gold. I mean, really smart guys have been buying, the families like the Rockefellers have been buying up water rights for 100 plus years. There's a reason why Ted Turner, I believe, is either the largest or the second largest landowner in the United States. He's not buying it for the land. He's buying it for the fucking water rights. Why are people so stupid?
I want y'all to listen to the language that he showed. He's saying, watch his tongue and then listen to the words that they say after. Just watch, peep the play. Watch his tongue. Everything and more. Like this. So, gotta be our best, be at our best. Probably get anything that's combination scenario is really good. Your last time I put this together constructed. Is that something that the group should acknowledge or doesn't acknowledge? What's the key that
Does his head look like that? It looks like an alien's head. What filter are you putting on him? Alien head.
Shapeshift. They was giving him the heads up that he was shape-shifting.
Camera sucks. Everyone's camera sucks.
You hear him replay? He's saying, "I understand. He was shape
I heard him
shifting
say that
on national TV."
Cabbage Patch Kids, whatever you want to call them, the original Cabbage Patch Kids. I showed you guys a few of these before. Let me pull this up for you here. So they were depicting kids basically grown in a farm, growing a cabbage field. And it's no coincidence that at the time, there was a lot of odd references, a lot of odd referrals to kids as cabbages. You're as cute as a cabbage. You were found in a cabbage field. Lots of slang or slogans from that time talking about babies being in cabbage fields. I think it was a metaphor, if you will, for babies being farm grown in some way, lab grown in some way, perhaps cloning, perhaps some kind of mass insemination project. I'm not sure, but I do know that at that period of the reset, the workforce was so sparse that they had to employ child labor at a level never seen before in history, before or after.
So in 2014, that Malaysian flight that had like 230 people went missing, right? They did a big search right as soon as it happened. Then 2017, they did a massive search. But now, they're now doing another huge search in the southern Indian Ocean using underwater robots, deep sea drones, and advanced scanning. And they are not going to get paid unless they find something. But some people mentioned the bloop. And I was like, what is the bloop? But in 1997, a mysterious sound was detected from 3,000 miles away inside the ocean. That right there. It happened again in 2005. And so they started looking again with their new technology, trying to source it, and they tracked it to one location, South Indian Ocean.
Left in Bermuda.
All right, so in my career, I have seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of schizophrenic patients. And it wasn't until recently that it clicked to me, why do all schizophrenic patients, not all, but most of them, have the same delusions? FBI coming after them, the same celebrities. They will always list the same celebrities, radio frequencies, paranoid that there is a chip implanted to them. None of these patients have any connections to one another, and they all say the same thing. Now, many of those that come in religiously preoccupied will make comments like, I am God, we are God, and certain statements that I don't find too far-fetched. Now, I keep my personal opinion separate from my clinical work. Let's put it out there. But I'm also very spiritual, and I do feel like the schizophrenic patients are connected to a certain realm that we are not. And I don't know if this is maybe Carl Jung's theory, the collective unconscious, where there is just like these webs of certain symbols and archetypes that we all pull from. Yes, and I am aware that there are these cultural narratives, and you can go down the rabbit hole and go into a induced psychosis based off absorbing too much information, right? But I'm just saying, how is it that these patients from different hospitals, different states, no connection to one another, report the same thing when in psychosis?
I really do think it's a different realm, y'all. A different realm. Because, like I've said before, I've heard music and I hear it for what it's worth. Now, I really know more, right? But when I was going through, like she said, the psychosis things, you hear that. You hear the true meaning, the true intentions of this music. All music, not just hip hop, right? All music. You hear the true intentions from these movies. You know, I remember one day I was smoking. This was after I went through everything, right? I was watching, um, was it called The Forever War? I forgot what it was called. It was a movie that came out not recently, but maybe in the past, I don't know, 5 years. I think Tomorrow's War, something like that, y'all. But I remember I was smoking and I was watching the trailer and they were breaking it down, y'all. This is the next war. Like, and I can watch that trailer now and I won't see it, but I was under the influence and I saw what that freaking what the future wars are like. Like they tell you in the movies what people say. They tell you in the movies. That's what they mean, y'all. You see it for what it is. It's not like seeing 9/11 in the background. It's not that, y'all. It's deeper than that. But you have to be in a different mindset to really see it, right? To really see the true meaning. You know, everything at the end of the day is a battle between good and evil. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Our dreams.
Well, it depends on what type of dream. So you have some dream states where you literally leave your body and you go to different dimensions of densities and you learn from your higher self. I believe when we sleep, we woke, and when we woke, we really sleep. So I think we are plugged in right now, thinking we woke and we not. And that's the reason why we experience so many limitations when we here. In this state, while I'm really sleeping woke, if I jump off this building, I'm going to hit the ground and most likely I would. But in my dream state, I really experience physical immortality. I jump off a building in my dream state. I bounce off the ground. I fly, I grow wings, all types of crazy stuff.
Right.
Me, I believe that the imagination is attached and associated to real biology. So I think a dream state is where not only you learn from your higher self, I think a dream state is when your higher self bring you messages on how to operate in the matrix. That's where you get some of your messages from. And I think a lot of it have to do with you living in multiple different realities at once. I don't believe that we only live here in this reality. I think that every time you have a new thought, you create a new reality. And it's called the butterfly effect, where all these realities quantumly exist at the same exact time. And this is where deja vu from, where you be like, I've been here before. Yeah, you've been here before. You just not been here before in this body, but you've been here before in another body. So dreams to me, or visiting different dimensions, is to actually learn from your higher self. You can play around in the astral world to gather information to bring back to this real sleep state that we in. And it can be for warnings and be for messages. So dream states is just you basically playing around with your astrological self to me.
You broke that down pretty good, huh? I liked it.
Somebody recorded this guy talking to his reflection.
The bar fucked up.
And
talking to himself in the mirror.
He leans towards his reflection, but his reflection doesn't lean back.
Yeah, it does look weird, huh?
Watch.
Yeah, he put his head forward and it didn't move.
One more time.
They don't even look like the same.
I don't know why,
That's
but
weird.
there's 200 dead people with you, so I have to pull over.
I wonder if it's because I'm a mortician.
This might be one of the strangest Uber rides ever recorded. Driver Thomas John was having a completely normal conversation with a female passenger when he suddenly started sounding genuinely nervous. In the middle of the ride, he apologized and asked her if he could pull over because he felt overwhelmed. Then he explained why. Thomas claimed there were too many dead people around her and said the energy felt so intense that he couldn't focus on driving anymore.
I know this is totally weird, but I'm a medium.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I communicate with people that are passed over.
Okay.
And I actually feel like I'm going to pass out because there's so many people with you right now. I don't feel like I can focus on the drive. I don't know why, but there's like 200 dead people with you. So I have to pull over.
The woman calmly explained that she works in the funeral industry and spends every day around coffins, bodies, makeup, and death certificates. But the creepiest part was how serious Thomas sounded the entire time while the passenger stayed unusually calm. After the video went viral, A lot of people online said the same thing. It didn't feel like a joke. It felt like Thomas truly believed something was following her.
Do you ever, like, I've had this happen multiple times, but like, say I'm hiking and I'll just see, like, let's just say an older gentleman and we're passing. And sometimes I'll think, like, was that a ghost? Like, he was dressed normal on the mountain. Just the hi was weird, like saying hello, walking past. Like, I have to look over my shoulder sometimes when I pass people. Just a weird vibe when you walk by them. And then there's sometimes I'm like, is that guy real? Like, because you don't know what's out there in the middle of the desert, y'all. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, y'all. You guys probably going to call me crazy after today's episode, y'all. But I'm just speaking my mind. These are my opinions, right? This is just my opinions. And not all the time we're going to agree with each other, right? I might say something that's out of pocket. It's okay, right? A lot of these reactors, they just say what you want to hear. Maybe that's what I need to start doing. Say what you, because people don't like to be told they're wrong or hear something they don't believe in. It's a turnoff, right? The truth hurts sometimes, right? It might not be the truth, but to me, it's my truth. But anyways, y'all.
Let me teach y'all something. When y'all walking home alone, it's a dark road. I just walked from a dark ass road. Dark ass road. Very bad. Walk in the middle of the road. If you gon' walk home, or you coming from somewhere, you know, and you have to walk somewhere, walk in the middle of the road. Do not listen to what nobody else gotta say. Walk in the middle of the road. You walk on the sideway, on the sides, you're going to get either kidnapped or you're gonna get fucked up. Walk in the middle of the road. It's a life tip.
Just walk through the bushes at the Unitarian church down by the water in Huntington. There was a building, some other building, big building, tall, right through the bushes at the fellowship. And they'd have these big circles of these Satanists around an altar where the people, sometimes in hooded, what do you call them? They were wearing these long cloaks that were brown with hoods, and they'd be in a circle or two circles, one inside of the other, by the altar, where there'd be live children and sometimes babies, but not at the same time, you know, one at a time. So, and that would happen at night. It never happened during the fellowship. I saw people get stabbed and start bleeding, and it would be dripping to the floor. It was children. The youngest I ever saw stabbed, I'd say it was about younger than 2 years old. And then there were several that were 2 and 3 years old. I can't imagine how anybody got away with that. The kid disappears. Don't detectives come?
This out because it's real. This shit is real, what they say. Watch this. Hit these ingredients, bro. Unbleached wheat, flour, water, salt, right? No poison here. Watch this. Even this, right? Check this out. Look at these ingredients. Sulfite-free coconut, inverse sugar, tapioca, starch, egg whites. Super clean foods, bro. But only for them. Here's another one. Watch this.
That's for all of
Look at
us. You
this.
just got to know.
Unbleached wheat, flour, salt, and water. Wow. No
What is this stuff?
preservatives, no seed
Crackers?
oils. Oh, and look at that.
Why would President Trump be taking all the tech giants, all the bank CEOs with him? All of these major CEO companies flew with President Trump to meet with Xi Jinping. So there are two major breaking stories today. If you're not caught up, I'm gonna catch you up. First, let's start with international breaking news. In the United Kingdom, King Charles announced today that they are going to go full force with the digital ID infrastructure, which is going to take over the banking system along with your physical identity, your physical digital structure.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
Basically, Starmer made it very clear at the beginning of this year that if you do not comply with this digital ID infrastructure that's going to be implemented, which was now validated by King Charles, that you are going to have a hard time getting socially verified. You understand? Socially verified, that if you do not verify yourself or comply with the system, you cannot participate in the society. Understand that part. President Trump did not travel to China alone.
All these tech guys.
He took all the tech mongols, the tech giants, the big companies, the banking infrastructure CEOs, BlackRock, all the creatures, the swamp of the
Elon.
deep state, like the people that we were supposed to drain. He took those vultures, those creatures are now leached on to the president, flew with him to China to meet with Xi Jinping. The same day that King Charles announces that digital ID will be going live soon. What is the one thing that China has mastered in the past century? If you've been following the meetings in Davos, you are going to understand that Klaus Schwab himself said every single nation needs to look to China when it comes to digital surveillance and one governing system transition into the new world order. Our president, who was supposed to drain the swamp, has taken the swamp with him to China to negotiate and broker deals on behalf of the American people. And these deals, I tell you, my friend, are going to involve the digital infrastructure surveillance system. You can take that to the bank.
I mean, they're prepping it, right? They're prepping it. All these data centers out there. What do you think that's for? It's to get ready for this new digital ID, right? It's not for AI. It's to get ready for this. And guess what? We're all going to do it, me included. Let's be real here. We can say we're not going to, but if we want to get groceries, if we want to drive our vehicles, if we want to put gas, if we want, to travel, if we want to live a normal life, unless you're going to live off grid, well, let's be real, we ain't. Even people that say they live off grid, they still got to go to the grocery store to get food, right? So we're all gonna fall in line, y'all, unless we march Washington down Washington D.C. Boulevard. I don't know what the damn street is, but unless we march down that street and do what other countries do and make this president flee the country, or else that's it. Nothing's gonna change, and we're just gonna fall in line, right? That's the only way it's gonna change. Will it happen? Honestly, y'all, no. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. They got us so divided that we'll never come together. We'll never come together. And the day we do, that's when they hit the eject button. I say this all the time. See, this guy knows what he's doing, but we don't. We don't know what we're doing. It's a clean hat, though.
So have y'all seen this freaky looking mech suit that they just released? It was apparently $650,000. I always thought the first time I would see a mech suit it'd be cooler looking than this. It was kind of freaky to watch it go on all fours and walk away like this. And you get this ridiculous video of it, I guess apparently mad at its stepdad and punching this wall. But it's being marketed as the world's first mass-produced manned robot. This machine can transform into a quadrupedal civilian vehicle too, which is that weird, freaky four-ped thing. But the real question I gotta ask, do you think these are already fighting in underground robot fighting clubs?
All right, guys, I need you to chime in on this one. So I just came back from the airport visiting my dad in Florida. I don't have a real ID, so before my flight, I went online to TSA. I made the $45 payment. I printed out the confirmation, and I brought it with me. Now, going from Philly to Florida, I had no problem. She looked at the paperwork. She said, okay, just hold on to this for when you're coming home. Now, going into the Fort Lauderdale airport, I was stopped and asked to step aside from the line while the guy walked away and was like, don't move. I had no idea what he was doing. My dad was actually with me until I got through security, and he's looking at me like, what's going on? I was like, I have no idea. I've never done this before. I said, by us in Jersey, they just let me through. Next thing you know, he comes back. He's like, I need to see the email. Even though I printed it, I said, no problem. I showed him my phone. Next thing I know, he goes, give me your hands. And he leaves for again, and he comes back and he wipes them with I don't know what. And I'm thinking like, what the fuck is going on? What are you putting in my hands? And he's like, I need to go test this. And I'm thinking this is all because I don't have a real ID. I have a regular license. It's just a different piece of plastic. Why are you making me step aside? You already got your payment. And what the fuck are you putting on my hands? So finally he came back and he's like, you're fine. You go ahead. And I was asking around and some other lady's like, oh yeah, they do that to me all the time. If they were concerned about their safety and they're checking people's hands, why are they only checking mine? What did they put on my hands? And what is the purpose? All because I don't have a real ID. Again, I haven't traveled in years. I haven't been to an airport in years. So I don't know if this is normal protocol, but it made me really, really uncomfortable. And even my dad was like, what are you putting on my daughter's hands? It was really weird. So anyone that travels a lot, I'd love to know if you have more information, because what the fuck did they put on my hands and why?
I've only flown twice, y'all. So, you guys are probably, if you guys are avid flyers, you guys probably know this answer. But, when we flew the last time with the baby, like they would rub something, like they don't even have bomb sniffing dogs. That's what I was guessing it was for, like to see if there's drugs in there or whatever. Like they rub something with a brush, like say on the milk, or on the bottles or something. Like they rub something now, and then they do a test. Like it's not old school no more. I don't know what that was. I'm guessing it was to see if there was drugs or any type of crazy stuff in there that, I don't know, but he would rub something like with a brush on there. 10 seconds later, you're good to go, right? I don't know what the heck that was. Usually I would ask questions like, what is this? What is this? But I was dealing with the cranky baby, so whatever. But, you know, those days of dog sniffers, I don't even think there was a dog in the airport when I went.
I was just watching a video and the dude said, if you get pregnant and you have your baby in a full term, which is only 9 months, mind your business. You stay in the child's place. Thank you. So if you have a baby in 9 months, how the fuck is your birthday every 12 months? Answer that. How the fuck is your birthday every 12 months and it only took you 9 months to get here? And then come to find out, July ain't even a real month. So I ain't even really born in July. So when the fuck was I born? I don't even know me. This means that we are all older. We are older. Y'all know how back in the day they be like, motherfucker live 200, 300 years. That's how, dummies. Because our birthday is every 9 months. They added 2 more. But wait, if they only added 2 more months, then how? That's all milk. Because it's supposed to be 10 months. Oh, it's supposed to be 10 months. So our birthday's every 10 months, not 12 months. So that, yeah.
Everybody saying that their car fuel's burning faster is actually right. It was just released a few days ago, I believe, that they're going to start putting more ethanol in the gas, so your full gas tank is not going to last as long. Now, I guarantee they're already doing this because I and many other people on TikTok that I've seen are already complaining that their full gas tank isn't lasting as long as normal. So it turns out we're not crazy. They are screwing us over.
And this is what I say with the digital ID. We're just going to, they put that out, y'all. Americans are complaining. I'm one of them. I'm not going to say complaining. We're pissed off that these gas prices are going up because of the stupid war that isn't even for the reason they're telling us, and we're paying for it, and they're taking advantage with these gas prices. And then they come out and say, we're putting more ethanol in there, so it's not going to last you as long, right? Magically at this time when gas prices are through the roof. And guess what? We don't do nothing about it. That's why I say we will never come together. We'll never come together, right? We'll never come together. We're just going to keep putting gas in. Okay, they're making us spend more money than we need to. Okay, I ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Spiritual beings such as Baal and Moloch, which they still do ceremonies for today, such as in Bohemian Grove. There is a giant effigy of an owl. That's the god Moloch goes all the way back to Rome and Carthage, in which they were offering to this god in exchange for power. The phoenix is the symbol of the cabal. Why? Because the cabal must be burned to ashes, seems to be completely destroyed, but it keeps arising and reincarnating from the ashes.
Are we still doing the fake demonic thing? And I'm not saying this out of concern or what it's impressing upon any young music listeners that might.
My question is, why do y'all think it's fake? Like, these musicians over the last 60 years have made it very clear that they've sold their soul, created these bonds and rituals out of the music that they've done, written spells inside of the music they've created, made concerts into entire rituals. Like, the musicians themselves are telling you that this is what they're doing. Music executives that are at the highest seats of power are telling y'all that this is what they're doing, and y'all still think it's fake. And then when we turn around and listen to this music, we can hear these frequencies. We know that there's something inside these songs that aren't right, but y'all still think it's fake. And you know why they keep doing it? It's because y'all think it's fake. So they get away with it.
That's not surprising. And you know why that's not surprising. So
okay, tell me why.
Break that down. Okay. Isn't Conan O'Brien one of the writers of The Simpsons? Wasn't he one of the writers of The Simpsons?
There it is.
So wouldn't it explain...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Wouldn't it explain how The Simpsons have been predicting everything for the past 30 years?
Exactly. So Conan O'Brien, so he's one of the original writers, right? Oh, shit. I did not know this. No, yeah. He's one of the original writers on The Simpsons. Okay. So you mean to tell me that now he's on this list, allegedly, that he's part of this secret society, and he was one of the original writers on Simpsons that predicted everything in the last 30 plus years?
It's not predicted, it's scripted.
It's scripted and it's planned. Because even when we were talking about with Elizabeth Carson, how the last episode we were saying, hey, Bart holds up a magazine that says 9/11.
Right.
And it says New York, and it has 2 towers. And it literally shows you 9/11.
So you're telling me that nobody ever thought to ask the simple question, how they tell us, you know how they tell us how a meteor destroyed all the dinosaurs and wiped them out? That's what we were told. That's the lie we were told. And no one asked the question. Okay, so you're telling me a meteor hit the earth so hard and violently that it killed all the dinosaurs. But how are their bones still fully intact for us to be able to piece them back together? You hear me? How are their bones still intact? We have full skeletons of these dinosaurs that we're able to freaking replace and make replicas of in museums, right? And by the way, T-Rexes, they were dragons. But anyway, I'm sorry, but they were dragons. You can look at it because of the birds and the nubs and the skin. Anywho, and you're thinking, okay, well, how does that even make sense? Where are you going with this? You know what dinosaur literally translates to? Big lizard. Okay, hear me out. You're telling me a meteor wiped them out? No, it didn't. You know what did wipe them out? The flood. Yep, the Bible. It's true. And it's crazy when you read it. Literally, the first 2 books describe the end times of today. Anywho, the pre-flood, the earth was made perfectly. It was made harmoniously. Everything lived perfectly. Human, was recorded to live 900 and something years. Okay, so you're telling me if a man could live 900 and something years, can you imagine how big a 900-year-old lizard would be? Think about it. Dinosaur translates to big lizard. Right? Hear me out now. A 900-year-old lizard, or reptile in general. Do you realize how freaking monstrous that sucker would be? And it probably would evolve within its own species and might have wings and might do these. We don't have a freaking clue. You're going to tell me you're going to know something off a bone, but you can't answer the question how that bone's still intact because a meteor killed it? I'm thinking if a big-ass rock comes out of space and kills you, how are you going to have bones left? Perfectly intact for us to build replicas of. But then lie about the story of it. So why lie? It's a great question. I don't know.
Do you know why Prince, the famous rock star that was a friend of mine, do you know why he called himself the artist when he came back? He calls himself the artist because that's what they call us in our contracts. Oh, these contracts are crazy. You should hear the terminology they say in these contracts. To use your name and likeness in perpetuity throughout the universe. Who the fuck could possibly know what that means? Nobody does. It's so complicated, in fact, that when you're a kid like me, you have to hire somebody to tell you what that means. And you sit.
And the person you hire is part of that club. You know what I mean? So you don't know who to trust.
Down at a table and you do the contract game. And that's how I got with Comedy Central. I signed the contract. And I signed the contract the way that a 28-year-old expecting father that was broke signs a contract. I was desperate. I needed a way out. And it wasn't good money and it wasn't good circumstances. But what else am I going to do, I said. And all these white people sitting at that table told me, trust us, Dave, it's a good contract. And I looked around the table and they all seemed to agree it was a good contract. But what if it was like that game of three-card money? What if they were all friends and I didn't know it? The fucking industry is a monster. It's the same monster that these Me Too bitches was trying to tell you about. But they hate the monster for how it fucks. And I hate that monster for how it eats. But my God, man, it's the same monster. I'm up here doing something that nobody else in this business has the balls to do. I'm telling you something that you need to know. I'm trying to explain to you what you're seeing. You don't understand what you're seeing. I am publicly flogging a network. And I know that this network niggas, they watching me and they saying, why are you doing this so publicly? Doesn't feel good to be flogged publicly. Oh, believe me, I know. I know exactly how that feels. When I quit my show, they said I was crazy. What was crazy about it? I just didn't want to do it anymore. They said I smoked crack. That's impossible. I was a devout Muslim. I didn't smoke or drink. But I do now, bitch, because you ruined my fucking life. Now it's their turn. This is their first nigga lesson. And I'm honored to give it to them.
Gonna have to pay that price. Is the sacrificing animals and shit real too? That really, that's just real. Blood is spiritual currency.
I don't.
That's it. Really go like that though. Like
You been killing animals before?
Yeah, goats, all that. Cause I remember I watched the Drink Champ shit.
I did it all.
And Nori asked you like how you. I forgot what he asked you. Like how you beat the something. And you was like, yo,
sacrifice.
I had to sacrifice him.
Yeah,
that's real.
Yeah, turtle tongue, all kind of shit, bro. Yes, yes, nigga. That's how. That's like when I didn't know better. Even though God was in charge this whole time, he let me run with what I was running with and let me feel like that was power. That was, you know what I'm saying? Until I realized like he's the only power I need, bro. He's the Almighty. He's running all that, bro. All that shit runs when you say his name. And cause at the time I was fighting an armed robbery charge. So I was saying to myself, I need something harder, stronger than prayer. I didn't know. I need something. I need to get down in that dark and dirty world, bro. I need because this is some real shit. So I did that. You know what I'm saying?
The reason you can't get rid of roaches is because you can't get rid of the spider because the spider is creating the roach. People don't think that the spider is that intelligent. It is. Listen, ants is not.
The spider is creating roach.
Helping them breed.
How they do that?
Because they have a pocket in the cat when they invade planets, right? How the fuck we gonna exterminate all the roaches unless we crawl into the bottom of a deep ass cave? And I ain't going down there. You going down there? No. So the spider is holding the door open for this to repopulate because what spiders do is they give their eggs to the roach and the roach go spread their eggs. You ever hear the saying before I could do? You ever hear the saying every time a fly drop on you, it drop an egg?
I heard that.
Well, who eggs is they dropping because this ain't pregnant? They dropping the spider egg. And everything and I'm gonna end this here. Everything you drop on the floor, ant. No matter what it is, food or metal or plastic, everything that you drop on the floor, an ant either take it to a spider for them because they perform forensics, for them to perform forensics, or it take it to the spider to see what new inventions humans have come out with. Humans are being spied on by insects. because they don't understand that these are.
I love that, right? Because he not lying, and like it's crazy. A lot of people.
That's what World War II was about.
That's what I'm saying, right? A lot of people watch it but don't understand.
Am I the only one that doesn't see the point of this anymore? Trading your time for money. So I'm supposed to give you 8 hours of my day for 5 days a week for the rest of my life?
I mean, I really don't understand, like, that dude that works at Walmart. Let's say he's working 40 hours a week. He's not making more than, I'd say, 400 a week, 800, let's just say 1600 a month working at Walmart. I don't know, right? I never worked at Walmart, but I've had jobs where I'm making 1050, whatever, and that's what I was making. Like, knowing what I know now, I'm like, bro, you can go get stuff out of the garbage and sell it on Facebook Marketplace and make that 1600 in 2 weeks. You can go clean garbage cans with the pressure washer and make double that 1600 in a month. Like, I don't know. I guess when you get older, I don't know, y'all. My mindset just shifted, y'all, because I'd done those jobs. And it took me getting out of those jobs and learning how to make money and like how easy it is to go knock on someone's door, talk to them for 10 seconds. They're either going to say yes or going to say no. But if you go knock on 20 doors, you're going to get 10 yeses at 25 a pot. You do the math, y'all. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of ways to make money out there, especially that young kid working at, Walmart. I'm like, bro, you can go out there and make that. What you make in a day at Walmart, you can make that in an hour. You know what I mean? And you feel a lot better because it's your own, you're working for it. But anyways, y'all, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Made it this far. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope everyone out there is having a good Friday. I'm gonna see you guys on Sunday. Playlist is gonna pop up over here for you guys to go down that rabbit hole. I'll see you guys then. Later.